Yay!
I am so elated to have this moment in time with you. Oh
I
my
am so
God.
so excited to be here too. That we are going to have so much fun. Yay!
Shoo. Oh my God, this is amazing. So, for those of you who still do not know Suzanne, first, please go ahead and get to know her in her profile, in her Instagram, in her books. So, Suzanne, you wrote two books, Girl,
Awaken.
Girls Awaken
Mm-hmm.
and the Quantum Vibes, that I do have them. Oh, so good.
Yes.
Yes. Amazing. And we got to know each other through a beautiful mastermind that we've been
Mm-hmm.
there. And I was falling in love with you because you're so beautiful and so full of energy and so positive. Doesn't matter what you were speaking of, high, low, which we all going through.
Of
You kept
course.
on being very positive towards everything, and it felt okay, you're just reporting challenges and moving forward. That was so inspiring and so beautiful. And I'm also aware, and I love people also to know that you're also supporting people to lead with their voice, not
Mm-hmm.
only the speaking voice, but their message, what they're coming here for, what is part of their soul. And that is something that I would love to go deeper with you.
Yes, absolutely. So, unique soul blueprint is what I think is the magic to unlocking fulfillment, happiness, and success. And in doing that, we have to have the courage to speak our soul, which is what I teach about the speaking your soul.
Hmm.
And the reason that I teach this way is because I'm very naturally intuitive. And it's one of those things where I had lived life being intuitive, but I didn't know that I was intuitive. And when I had my awakening, which was back in 2013, because if you would have known me before 2013, I was a very different version of Suzanne. And I had a moment that changed everything for me. And it was actually almost exactly a decade ago. So 10
Hmm.
years ago, I've just been having all of these, oh my gosh, moments because it was a decade ago, and like looking to see what I've been able to create in a decade and how my life has transformed in a decade has been so phenomenal. And so for anyone that's ready to go to the next level, it's like our soul has the magic. And I think a lot of times we get really stuck in this third dimensional world of pushing, of deadlines, of bills to pay, of the grounded tactical things that might need to get done, but we don't know how to bring our soul and our essence and our magic and our power to them. And when we can figure that out in life, it equals fulfillment. And when we can figure that out in business, it equals even more fulfillment and abundance and success and everything that we came here to do.
So what happened to you 10 years ago? Like, how did your soul reach out? How did you came to feel in a more tangible way the presence of your soul? What happened there?
I wasn't even aware that really I had a soul. I knew about a soul, but I didn't know the depth, the meaning, the power, the wisdom of it. And so what happened for me was I had just lived a life trying to fit into a box that society told me to fit in, which I'm sure many people can relate to. And I got into this space and place where nothing was working out the way that I wanted it to. And I had been searching. I was one of those people that didn't want to feel. If something got uncomfortable, I was like, nope, let me go get busy and do something else. But I didn't want to feel. I was disconnected from my heart. I didn't feel worthy. I chased things. I chased through career achievements. I would spend a lot of time at nightclubs, if I'm honest. And it was because I would feel good because I wasn't feeling. And I I was very good at my job because I would use intuition and it gave me a high. And so it's through romantic relationships, through shopping, whatever it was, I was looking for validation and fulfillment through everything except for the one place I should have been looking. And all of the sudden, nothing was filling me up. And it was almost if all of the years where I had just pushed down all the uncomfortable things and all the uncomfortable programming, it's like it all just started to come up to the surface and I couldn't push it down anymore. And so what I started to do was every single day I would have a glass of wine at 5 o'clock. And I waited till 5 o'clock because it felt normal. It felt like I was just taking the edge off. And it wasn't an alcohol addiction. The honest truth is it was a numbing mechanism because there's a difference. When you have an addiction to alcohol, that wasn't where I was. I was feeling depressed. I was feeling disconnected. I needed anything to numb. And so I started drinking wine every single day around 5 o'clock, just not to feel. And even before that, I was still having to feel, and I wasn't happy. And this was a
Mm.
couple of months that this happened. And one day I was sitting on the sofa and I was staring at the clock and I was waiting for 5 o'clock because I don't know what it was inside of me. Is I felt like, I don't know, I felt like it just wasn't okay if I did it before 5 o'clock. So for whatever reason, I waited. And this one day I was sitting there and I was just staring at the clock and it was 4:59, 4:59, 4:59, 4:59, 4:59. And I believe that it was divine intervention because the clock never changed to 5 o'clock. And I still have full body chills as I'm just even sharing the story with you. And
I'm listening and I'm shivering completely.
I fell to my knees and my tears just started streaming down my face. And I started to feel my soul in my body for the first time. And see, even as many times as I told the story, it still brings emotion. And it's because I know there's so many people out there that are feeling this. And I looked up and I prayed and I said, God, I'm really not willing to walk down this lonely, dark road alone anymore. And it was an activation. It was an awakening. It was a quantum moment. This is what I call a quantum moment. And there was no going back. And so all of a sudden, I started to have realizations. All of a sudden, I started to be guiding by something bigger than me. I started searching for happiness and freedom. I started reading every book I could get my hands on, listening to podcasts. I found spiritual teachers and I started going to retreats. And I spent the next year learning to love myself, learning about what soul is, learning about my life purpose, learning about coming into alignment with my unique soul blueprint. And in doing that, I wasn't trying to create a business. I wasn't really looking for a career change. I was just trying to find happiness and peace. And in doing that, I started to realize that I had some gifts. And in doing that, my calling started to grow because our life purpose is expanding every single step of the way. Even for me and for you right now, there's always a next evolution. And so then I began to have a calling of writing a book. I wanted to find my life purpose. And the first thing that dropped in was writing a book. And I had this vision that I was going to write a book and it was going to be about awakening. And it was going to parallel the awakening that was happening in the world, but it was going to be mystical and magical because I was reading all these personal development books and I was activated. So I was interested, but I could see how it could get very boring if all you're doing is reading personal development book after personal development book if you're not activated. And a part of my calling is to wake up people that maybe be that activator sometimes. And so Girl Awaken was written with the intention to shift consciousness in a fun and magical way. And I was shown it's going to be on the big screen, and it is going to be on the big screen. And that's a
Is it
different
there's a contract
conversation.
already? Is there a
So
contract?
there was an investment person dropped in. The movie was, there was a funder of the movie, but I'm not accepting it. It's a whole different story because I want to do it in a
Mm.
way that's in alignment with my unique soul blueprint. So it's in the ethers, it's percolating. I may change my mind, but the movie is definitely happening. It is going to happen.
Oh, so
And
good.
that vision was in 2014 when I had that vision. I spent the year writing the book and then I launched the book in 2015. I started hosting retreats in 2015 and it was just something that was natural, but also something that I continued to show up and lean in and learn and get mentorship and get better and better. And I just had the Quantum Success Leadership Summit here in Laguna Beach, gosh, about a month ago. And Homaya, I wished you could have been there. In the room,
Oh,
the energy that moved through was beyond amazing. And so it's just like the more that we can align with our heart and our soul and speak our soul and come into alignment with our unique soul blueprint, the more magic it gets, the more elevated we get, and the more fun we get to all have.
yeah. I want you to speak more about this fun because it feels for me every time that I have a conversation with you, every time that I listen or I read something from you, I feel this quality so strong. And I do feel very clear that the presence of our soul come together with fun and joy and happiness and bliss. However, when you look around on the spiritual realm, it doesn't look like that so much. Can you spark a little bit of your fairy dust around that topic?
Yes, absolutely. A big part of my mission is to infuse fun and joy in the energy of what we're doing because we take everything so seriously. And we're adults. And I was actually on my podcast. I'm reading my book Quantum Vibes audibly on my podcast, the Quantum Vibes podcast, and it was just talking about this, about how when we're kids, we have this play-like imagination and we have this play energy, and somewhere along the way, we're told that's for kids only. And that's not true. It's like the magic is in what feels fun. The magic is in what feels exciting. And we turn that off. And so I think it's just simply a choice of what feels fun, what feels exciting. How can I implement that in business? Regardless of what industry you're in, how can I implement that in my relationship? How can I implement that in my own life? And so the spiritual, so for example, like we can go deep and have fun at the same time. And it's one of my gifts is to be able to take you to the depths of where your soul wants you to go and be able to hold like a fun, laughable frequency around it. Because in doing that, we can transcend the healing so much faster. I'm not saying there's not times where we're just going to need to crawl up in a ball and cry, or there's not times where it's not going to feel fun, but somebody's got to bring the fun energy, right? And so it's the more that we can do that, and the more that we can laugh, and the more that we can dance and open and giggle and move our bodies, it's actually a really high frequency when we can do that. And so we don't have to, if we're in a healing moment, we don't have to always go backward for so long and go dig up all of the trauma, because I believe that we're living in an energy where we can transcend that. And there was a time and a space where that really served a lot of us. And I think we're moving out of that to where we can really begin to move forward without needing to go dig up all of the trauma, and just make a choice that we're on the healing path. And as we're elevating at each next level, there is going to be some more healing, and there is going to be some more shadow that we've got to look at. And as that expands, so does the fun, and so does the abundance, and so does the joy. And so when we can choose to really, I teach what's called the Adams actualization activation. And in that, we have arrows which represents our energy, and I call them your alignment arrows. And when you can point your alignment arrows into the infinite field of possibilities, and you hold that frequency, then that gets to be the dominant frequency no matter what.
Yeah. So there's a quality of choice here.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a quality of permission, which means to give yourself the permission to renunciate what was until now relevant, the paradigm that was governing the spiritual community.
Yes.
And to choose a higher truth where indeed everything is possible. There's no only one way to get into this state of bliss and joy and fun after hours of meditation. You can actually, through the human, through the joy of being together, through the joy of living this life, can access this place.
Yes, absolutely. And you pay attention. A lot of times when people are in a room with me, they're like, wow, like they feel it. And so it's like we pay attention to where we feel it. You said it. You're like, Suzanne, I feel it coming from you. And Homaya, we can all choose to turn it on more and more. And so it's like we've got to pay attention to where we're feeling that, and do more of that, where we're feeling the vibrations and where we're feeling excited, and choosing to move forward in the direction of our dreams, and not looking backward, and not worrying about, and not plugging in, and not saying what if, because we can't change that. If we could go back and change it, it might be different, but we can't.
Yeah. What I love with this fun energy and the lightness frequency that is coming is that it really gives an all different version of the courage and conquering it and focusing in the target. And what I feel from you is, no, my hands are fully open. My heart is fully open. Come on, God, let's dance together.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
It
Yes.
comes so strong every time that I have a conversation with you. And I want you, when you are saying, my soul unique blueprint guided me to wake up. And you said, okay, I needed to go through a clearing and a cleansing. But how do you feel that your soul unique blueprint guided you through that journey and made you go through the healing and transformation while you are carrying all the gifts of who you are? Because you said, before I was already intuitive, before I was sad, but for sure you were joyful as well, right? If not,
On
you
the
were not
outside.
spending your on the outside. Yes. So
Okay,
what do you feel?
There's so much here. First of all, I have to say, I feel so seen by you right now. When you're like, your heart is open and your hands are open. You're like, come on, I'm almost moved to tears over that. Thank you for seeing me, because it just feels so good. And I think that's just, you nailed it. So thank you. And then when you think about the unique soul blueprint, so to take back pre-awakened Suzanne, so before 2013, yes, I was silly, I was fun. Like I've always liked to giggle, I've always had a playful energy. That is just who I am. However, there were times where it was a facade. There were times where I would wear a smile on the outside because I didn't want anyone to really see me. And one of my own patterns that had to be healed was I didn't feel safe to share who I am authentically, because as a child, I was very intuitive and I would say things and I would share and I would get laughed at. And it was just a subconscious program that went zoom, it's not safe to really show who you are. And so that was the untangling and the healing, a lot of the healing that I had to do. And unique soul blueprint. People are always like, Suzanne, what is a unique soul blueprint? How can I find mine? And it's you choose to give the keys to your car of life, to your soul, to your highest, truest, wisest self over and over again. And
I
because
love that.
we
I love that.
forget.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes. And so, okay, thinking about on my journey, what I did is I noticed the symbol, the feeling in my body. So, for example, if there was a podcast or a book and I liked the cover, it felt like it was like dropping out of the screen. You feel it. It's almost like comes off the screen at you. That's your soul being like, hi, or you see something over and over again. It's like your soul is guiding and telling you. I was reading last night, chapter 7 in the Quantum Vibes podcast of Quantum Vibes. And that's quantum tool number 7, which is all about the aligning with the flow of divine synchronicity and signs. And I was talking about how God, universe, spirit will speak through people. Sometimes someone says something to you and you feel it in your body and you're like, that is for me. And so what I did that might be different from most people is I had the courage to move with it, no matter how crazy it seemed or no matter how illogical, because when you're going to come into alignment with your unique soul blueprint and manifest big wild dreams, it will feel illogical. And so each step, every time I felt crazy, I almost knew like I was on the right track.
Oof,
And
ecological. It was from the realm of the mind.
yes. And too many people get scared and they're like, oh my gosh, what are people going to think? And they let their subconscious programming override their unique soul blueprint. And so it's we've got to bring it to awareness that this is happening. And something that happened with me, it was that day, Homaya, in 2013, that 4:59 moment, that quantum moment. It was so powerful. It was so powerful. And it was as if like God and the universe just said, you have no more time. Like you are going to,
Oh,
it
wow.
is time. Like you need to get into your power right now and you better start healing because you got a lot of people to inspire and to heal. And there's so much that's going to happen here. And I think that we all have that. And if you're listening to this conversation, you probably have a big purpose or a big mission, because I know, Homaya, you do and I do. And we're being called. We're being called on a bigger level. And what's fun is there's more and more people that are succeeding in this industry and with this alignment. And it's just getting so much more fun. And there's so many more people of evidence of what's possible. And I think when it comes to aligning with unique soul blueprint, it's we've got to look at what is the feeling in my body? Where am I feeling called? Am I moving with it? Am I putting myself in conversation spaces and places and rooms that activate me? Am I really feel like I'm plugging into my full potential? Or am I playing small? Am I dumbing myself down? Am I sitting back? Because even I feel like I've manifested almost everything I've ever wanted.
and beyond, I would say.
Yes, and I'm still going, and it's fun because like we get to this next level, and I'm like, how can I stretch myself, and how can I keep going? And it's this engine, and it's what like to call mission-based manifesting, and it's mission-based manifesting because you're manifesting for your life purpose, for your mission. So your purpose is for you, your mission is for the world, and when you can really begin to let that be your turbo engine, it's like the possibilities are endless and you're gonna just, it's like this adrenaline rush and it almost becomes an obsession, and could be a good way and could be a okay, let's just lean back and relax way too.
Yeah, but I do feel that this possibility to stretch our dream is really like creating a space for the soul to show up even more. Because there's a
Yes.
common way that we all have a dream and we all have a mission and we all have a calling. The entire podcast is about, hey, people, listen to your calling. There's a calling, follow,
Yes.
right? This is the entire podcast about. Yet I feel that it's really important that we highlight that we as human can keep on creating spaces for more divinity to show up, for really experiencing heaven on earth, for really experiencing the unlimitless of who we are and what exists, instead of, again, tapping into the tendency of whatever limit we got used to. And there are some people who have a limit because this is a common limit. So everyone knows, oh, should be afraid of that and be concerned about your income. And like, there is those limits. And there's
Yeah.
also other types of limit of the way that we are not able to see how we are guided, how much we are supported, how much is being gifted to us and offered to us, and how the fact that we have the free will to choose if we want to choose sadness or joy. This is like the biggest gift that we have, and that is relevant beyond any social economic class that you are at. It's just available for each and every one.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I loved like when you were saying the calling, it was like it's this visualization. And I talk about a lot of alignment with your personality, with your soul, because that's what happened to me. And that helps you come into alignment with your unique soul blueprint. And that is answering the call. That is what it is. It's like mission
Must.
based manifesting is honoring your calling, because
Yeah.
that is what it is. And if you think about it, if you can look at your highest, wisest self, your soul, your higher power, and you can start to make decisions, like you just said, you can choose sadness or you can choose joy. And so there may be moments where you need to feel the sadness for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, take a breath, honor the tools that I teach, that you teach, and then you don't wallow in it though. And so there's something to being able to feel it and hold it without wallowing in it, and then choosing to activate that frequency of joy even more.
Yeah. And this is real power. I feel that
Yes.
this is so much, there's so much strength in that. There's so much strength in the choosing of what are you willing to host in your system. To what extent are you willing to host it? There's power there. And there's also a power in holding more and more joy in your life. Can it be even better? Can it be even better without me feeling like the threat?
Yeah. Like the fear of success and the fear of even more and the fear of holding more.
Yeah. Like it's almost like common tendency is when something good is happen, it will have an end, although the truth in good and God is that it cannot end because that isn't the frequency of limitlessness. While sadness and grief and death, separation, all of that, just naming all of those things that really makes us feel sad, are in the frequency of end. While joy, prosperity, love, it's all in the frequency of more, of infinite, of divinity. And still we're
Mm.
falling to acknowledge that and to choose that intentionally and consciously.
That is some wisdom right there. And
Thank you.
I love what you said about just let it feel. What it feels like to me is just letting it in, just letting more love in. And sometimes it's if we can just be in that stillness of letting it in, of connecting to our heart and soul, and from that space moving in that direction with the courage, that's how we come into alignment with our unique soul blueprint. And we've got to remember that our calling isn't about just okay. Our calling isn't about fine. It's not about
Yes.
settling. Our calling, our mission is about ultimate fulfillment. It is about showing up at your highest expression. It is about seeing yourself in your power so that you can be seen, and in that creating a magnetism that is undeniable.
Yeah. I had a conversation with my students today in one of the classes that I teach, and I told them your higher self is not poor. Your higher self does not believe in lack. Your higher self is not sad. Your higher self is not shy. It doesn't dim his light. It's like your higher self, the fact that you feel that there is a higher self alive within you, that is the expression of prosperity. This is the expression of being remarkable, of being outstanding. Like, how can we not see when we look outside? In my own awakening, one of the things that really moved me there is that I was like, I just cannot believe all of the stars, all of the songs, all of the trees, all of the flowers for a dormant life, something is not correct.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's like there's miracles every single day, everywhere we are. And honestly, Hamaya, the untalked about secret is just keep looking at what's working. Keep looking at what's for you. Keep looking at them more. And when you feel like you're stumbling, find someone that helps you, that soothes you, that
Yeah.
helps you believe in yourself even more.
Yeah.
Um,
Take your chin easily and look at the right thing, where the
yes,
party is.
yes, yes. And I see so many times that people are too busy looking at what's in front of them instead of looking at where they want to go. And I think that's a
Oh,
really frustrating thing for the human species to do, is because we live in a world that doesn't set us up to win if we don't choose it. And so
wow.
we've got to choose it, and we've got to understand the power of our energy and creation from our energy, which again is basically it's coming into alignment with your unique soul blueprint. It's following your calling. It's like your calling is the path, the key.
Yeah,
And
and it is
so,
inside. It's not something that is coming from outside of you. That moment where you have the 450 moment, I love calling it like that. The
yes,
459 moment, it's like when you had it, the call was not from the outside, it's you are
mm,
calling inside of you.
yes,
This
yes.
is the power here.
And
That
it
to
was so
know,
loud. It was so loud, Hamaya. It was like but you know what it took was it took me literally not sure if I wanted to breathe. Like it took me falling to my knees in my darkest hour before I heard it, unfortunately. And so I believe we can hear our calling through inspiration, or we can hear our calling through pain. And
yeah,
this is why we've got to really look and see what is our part in this. And it is already inside of us, and it's just a
yeah,
matter of remembering and unlocking and moving in that direction. And it doesn't mean that every day is perfect or there aren't hard days. In fact, sometimes when we're stretching the most or going higher and higher, it can be a little more challenging and a little more difficult because it's growth. And just like anything, is there's going to be some growing pains, and there's like everything you ever wanted that's right there too.
Can you, Suzanne, can you share all those victories? Because there are some people, as we can imagine, who would listen now and wouldn't grasp the victories. So, 3
Yeah.
million people watching your TED Talk.
Yeah, so my TEDx talk has reached over 3.2 million people, which is so amazing. It's a 16-minute conversation about frequency and energy and how we can use it to attract our dreams. And the intention of that TEDx was to really create a mainstream conversation around frequency and quantum physics and possibility. And so that's amazing. Gosh, I started my business in 2015, and it started doing very well very fast because I just get it. And what's interesting, Hamaya, is when I built my business, I was very much operating in full masculine energy, but in my business, because that's what I knew. And there's a lot of push, there's a lot of matter to matter energy. It works. And I built my business like that. And it succeeded very well. I spoke for Mind Valley twice. I've spoken for Lululemon, the American Heart Association. I've written 3 books, 2 books, because the first
One is
version of Girl
renovation.
Awakened, yes, Musings of an Earth Angel. So then Girl Awakened, and it's really amazing. I followed the calling about in 2019 to move across the country to live in Laguna Beach. I had no idea where I was going, where I was going to live. I didn't know a soul, but I knew everything in my body was tingling and saying yes. I flew across the country. I had recently renovated my home in Atlanta, Georgia. I renovated it. So it was like this sanctuary. I didn't want to leave it. It made no logical sense. I rented it, booked a one-way ticket, packed 3 suitcases, flew across the country, not knowing anyone, not knowing where I was going to live. I had a place to live for 1 month, and my soul led me into the most beautiful floor to ceiling window, ocean view home that I was renting, and I lived there for 4 years. It felt like a stretch. It made no logical sense. It was steps away from the beach, and it healed my heart. I woke up every single morning and I would walk out and there would be like the ocean breeze, and I would see all of these dolphins, and in between clients I would run to the beach and I could walk downtown, and it just felt like a whole new chapter. And that was alignment. And when I was living there, I was like, what a dream. I healed my heart. I learned to really enjoy receiving from men. I had a couple of interesting relationships, and about a year ago, I met a really amazing, extraordinary man that is just the perfect fit and a really epic soul partner. If you've seen me on Instagram, you've seen him, and he supports my career and my mission in the best of ways. And then, gosh, out of the blue, yeah, I'm like this house that I'm living in right now, and you really, let me see if I can show you. There are like, it is just such a dream, and I was looking to learn the market. I wasn't even the way this house dropped in. I can tell you the story. I don't know how much time we have, but it just the way the house dropped in. I'll tell you real quick because it's so
Yeah, go
interesting.
ahead, go ahead.
Because this is alignment with your unique soul blueprint. So I wasn't looking to buy a house. Like I was when I first moved, and I walked into the beach house, the ocean place. I felt, oh my gosh, this made no logical sense. It was way more than I wanted to spend. And I was like, this is what you move across the country for. And it just like gave me life. And I was like, 1 year, I'll do it for 1 year, and then I'll buy something. The years started coming around, and I started looking, and I'm from Atlanta, and the market in Atlanta, Georgia is very different than the market in California, especially in Laguna Beach, one of the most popular beach destinations in the world. And I was like, ugh. I started looking, and I was like, no, I was like so happy where I was. So I stayed there, and I was like, I'm just going to stay here as long as I feel aligned. And 4 years later, basically, so a real estate agent contacted me. She said, I want to start showing you some things. And I believe that she was one of those messages of the divine, because I wasn't really ready to start looking. And we look, and I'm not really finding anything. And I opened up an idea. It dropped in from the divine. And all of a sudden, I just had this idea, and I was like, what if I just started looking in some neighboring areas that isn't exactly Laguna Beach, but not far away? And as soon as I got that idea, I messaged her. I said, let's open up the search. I just want to keep looking. And still, I'm just learning the market. I'm not ready to make a move. She messages me within 24 hours, and she said, I just had a pocket listing. And a pocket listing means it's a house before it's on the
Yeah,
market.
yeah.
So Homaya, I end up driving over to this house, and my logical mind on the way is, you don't want to live, you don't want to leave Laguna Beach. What are you even thinking? By the way, it's only 8 miles from my old place, and it's only 3 miles from Laguna Beach, and only a mile and a half from the beach. It's not really leaving. And I drive around the corner, and I come up, and I just see, all of a sudden the horizon opens up. I see this beautiful mountain view. I see palm trees. I'm like, how is this here? And I didn't even know about it. I pull up to the driveway. There's a yard. In Laguna Beach, you don't get yard. I'm like, there's even a whole tree. There's grass. I walk into the house. I walk straight through the house. I go right out these doors, and I'm standing there, and I see the beautiful mountains, and I feel the energy of this space and this place. And it was another quantum moment. And
Yeah.
I'm standing there, and I'm looking around, and my whole body starts fluttering. And I know the feeling at this point, and my chest is, and my soul is yes. And I'm literally like, tears are streaming down. And I look around, and I said, I think this is my house. And as we sat out there for about 30 minutes, I'm asking the real estate agents questions. I said, I think I'm ready to make an offer, and I think I should probably go inside and look at that. And I go inside, and I look at the house, and it turns out there ended up being 40 other showings within the next couple of days when they put it on the market. There were 7 or 8 offers. And you know what, Hamai? I integrated all my manifesting tools. I was like, you know what? If this is for me, it will be for me. I'm going to do what feels in alignment. I'm willing to stretch myself, but I'm not willing to stretch myself in a way that feels out of alignment. And it dropped in. And it was just the way the contractor showed up for the renovation, like it all happened so fast. And I didn't know how healing and how expansive it was going to be. Like, see, I'm even getting emotional now because I'm still like, it doesn't feel real sometimes. And
Tell me about the healing. Can you tell me? I feel that this is so important for us to support others to really stretch and follow, because there's some ideas that the healing should be going backward. And while the healing can literally happen while you are experiencing goodness in your
yes,
life.
yes. And that's what's happened for me at every next level. And that's why I'm like, that we don't have to go backward. We can go forward and heal our inner child, walking into our dreams. And that's what's happened for me. It's like, I did not know you're bringing out the tears in me, Homaya. This is all the
Well,
goodness.
I'm still
As
this person.
as I was like the renovation, the way it all showed up, and I did things I didn't realize I was going to be doing. It's if you would have told me when I bought the house, oh, you're going to be renovating and you're going to be doing all this, I thought I'd slap some paint on the walls and just enjoy the view. But then it was like each next step, and I allowed my soul to show me like now's the time. And I still had the beach house, and I wanted one more summer in Laguna Beach, and so I let myself do all this, and the logical mind told me it was crazy, and I was like, no, this is how it's going to go. And Hermione, when I moved into this house, I can't explain it. It's a huge elevation, and it's a huge like I'm filled up with so much gratitude. Every single morning there's a waterfall out there running in the pool, being able to get in the jacuzzi and swim. It's Tuscany vibes out there. I have this beautiful new kitchen. If it weren't messy, I would show it to you right now. The beautiful new kitchen. It's like a blank canvas that I get to decorate. When my man is here, he doesn't live here with me yet. When he's here with me, like we're creating these moments and these memories, and it's so special. And this is why we're doing it all. And like my logical mind would have told me no, I had to act fast. I had to move. I had to put all my manifestation tools, my alignment arrows had to be up because there was a lot that could not have worked. And then it's as I'm here, it's all my own fears and insecurities are bubbling up more and more. Because the other thing that's interesting, Hamaya, is I leaned deeper in. I'm leaning more into my business. I didn't lean back and say, okay, I'm not going to do any work. I let it all expand together. I up leveled mentorship. I up leveled what I'm providing for my clientele. I said yes to creating this big event. I went to Egypt speaking. I still did everything else along it. And that's part of the stretching. And I think our logical mind tells us that we can't. And when I know when I needed nurturing, I double it up on getting massages. I double it up on my own inner healing. It's like I've meditated every day since 2014. And that's helped me to really build the muscles to be able to stretch and move. And I can tell you at the last event that I just had, the energy that moved through me, that was a dream. Like standing in that room and watching all of these hearts just come on, and the frequency that's in that's captured, I'm still just letting it all land.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Suzanne. Oh my God, I need to hug you now. It is so beautiful.
Thank you.
It is so beautiful. It is so powerful. And it is such a beautiful, active surrender.
Yeah.
You are walking while surrendering into the goodness that exists for us.
Thank you. And for
Really,
all of us.
yes, and I really feel you like creating, trailblazing the way.
Thank you.
There is no one way. One of the things that I really love when you speak about the soul blueprint is that it is so clear that each and every one have his own soul blueprint. And this is just, there's so much relief that we can all receive when we will stop thinking that there is one way to experience life, and that way is at someone's hands already. This common thought that really limits us. And this active surrendering, where we are walking and discovering while walking who we are, what we have to give, and allowing this energy first to nourish us and to activate us, and that will have its own ripples into those who surround us. This for me is the essence of a soul blueprint. There's irreversible once you surrender. You can't,
Yes.
right? It's irreversible.
Yes.
Once you accept it, it's irreversible. It's unique indeed. Like you cannot copy it. And therefore, there's no thoughts, no energy going of it is right or wrong. Why should you even think about right or wrong in that? It's just this is what it is. It is the frequency. And feeling you and experiencing you also with all of your emotion, your joy and the tears and everything that comes forth is really highlighting this level of freedom of being who you are. And I love you for doing that and being that person.
Thank you. It just, I'm like, obviously I'm moved. I'm emotional, and it's because it's just like we don't give ourselves the time to let it land and sink in. And I had this breakthrough last week as well, where I was moved to tears. And we need these moments to
Yeah.
celebrate and to
Yeah.
look at what we've created and to we can be a hot mess along the way, and just really let our worthiness come in and
Mm.
elevate to the next level. And the other thing about Unique Soul Blueprint is it's unique to you and only you. And I think sometimes in this world, in the spiritual world, or in the coaching world, or the personal development world, we're trying to do what the other person did ahead of us. And that's not the magic. The magic is right here inside of us. And the magic is like, you have an extraordinary gift. I have an extraordinary gift. And when we can activate our own unique gifts, the puzzle all comes together.
Oh my God, Suzanne, I love you. I'm so grateful that you came here to share your magic, your wonder, your joy, your passion. I keep on saying that almost, I think, in every podcast that I recorded until now, any episode. When I call this podcast The Calling, I wrote it, The Calling, Follow Your Spirit All the Way In. This is the name of the podcast.
So
But
perfect.
But then at the same time, I feel like it could also be named The Calling, Living Life Enhanced.
Oh, I like that too. Yes.
And I feel that here, this is another demonstration. Follow the calling, live life enhanced, full on, all colors, full saturation, and still place for more.
It's almost like living the calling from the spirit within and enhancing everything on the outside because you connected to what was on the inside.
Yeah. Thank you.
I just want to thank you. I love you. I adore you too. And not many people can bring me to tears like this on a podcast interview. I've been on a lot of them and I have never broke down and cried like this. You know what? This was healing for me. And it felt so good to share in this way and to show people that this is the frequency of creating everything you've ever wanted and letting it in and knowing that there's so much more, and that who knows what is coming. Who knows? It's going to be magic. And what people don't always see is the harder days, and we're allowed to have them. And I think sometimes, especially with me, like when in the fun energy, it's okay to have a hard day, and you can have fun still too on the hard
Yes.
days even. What a pleasure, what an honor, what a beautiful
Mm.
healing conversation for me. And I cannot wait till the day when I get to hug you and meet you in person.
For sure soon. I
Yeah.
love you.
Yes, I love you too.
Thank you so much.
Mwah. Thank you. It was my absolute pleasure.
Oh my God.